What's going on, Schmidt heads? Welcome back to another week of Undercover Picks. This is week 11. I can't wait to get into this week. So far this year, we are 79 wins against the spread. One less win, better than we were last year. But last year, at this point, I wasn't making videos like this. And it wasn't until I started making videos where I really picked it up. And look at here we are. Only one pick. Down one pick than we were last year. But I'm feeling real good this year. I felt real good about a lot of my picks this year. Had a lot of good calls. A lot of bad calls, but ones that I knew I should have pulled the trigger on. And those days are over. All right? I'm pulling the trigger when I have a gut feeling. That's what we got to do. And having 79 wins against the spread when I faded my gut feeling most of the year is pretty good. So we are 18 wins, 17 losses on the money picks this year against the spread. That's going to get better. Trust me. So, like I said, still have more wins than losses, even though, like, this year I haven't been feeling that good. And 79 wins is, borderline something to brag about. It's not the best. It's not up there with the top 1%, but it's close. And we're going to pick it up at the end of this year, the back end, and I can't wait to get going. All right, let's get started. Week 11, we got the New York Jets on Thursday night versus the New England Patriots. Patriots are minus 11.5. This line has moved to minus 13, I saw. I'm going with the Patriots to win and to cover here. It's an easy pick for me. I mean, it's Thursday night football. That's why I can't put my money on it. I haven't put money on one Thursday night football game this year. I'm going to keep it that way. I'll throw down like a little lottery ticket parlay on Thursday, but that's it. Jets have no offense. Fields sucks. The only game where Fields threw for a lot of yards recently was against the Bengals, and I think against the Cowboys. And who hasn't thrown for yards against them? Every other game, he can't do anything. There's no Garrett Wilson. His tight end seems to be his only option. They got a pretty good run game in Breece Hall. Allen, it was better with Allen, but he got hurt. But they can still run the ball with Breece Hall. But against this Pats defense, they're one of the best at stopping the run game this year. So for the Jets to cover this spread, you're asking Justin Fields to do it. Something fluky could happen, but that happened last week with the Jets. A little bit the week before. Jets covered the last 2 weeks. I had them covering, and now I think it's time to fade the Jets again. They have 5 wins against the spread this year, for as bad as they are. So, and the Patriots are going to keep rolling. The only thing I'm nervous about is they're not going to try to really lay down the hammer on the Jets. They're not really going to try and rub it in. And there could be backdoor potential here. Like, say the Pats are up 27-14. And then Jets, all they need is like a field goal or a touchdown. Like, there could be something wonky here in this game. But other than that, I'm super confident the Pats cover this with ease. Their defense shouldn't let the Jets get anything on them. And this offense keeps rolling. Even though Booty's out. Butte, it doesn't matter. Drake May's killing it. I see at the end of this game the New England fans chanting MVP, 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 and Drake May being like, stop it. Come on, guys. Other than that, let's get to the next game. Let's make this video a quick one this week. This will be our first quick video of the year. I want to be able to have some time to play some bets before tonight's game, and I'm cutting it close. It's 6:50 right now. Next game, we got the Washington Commanders at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are minus 2.5 here. Dolphins favored now. They had a good win a couple weeks before that against the Falcons. Now everybody's Dolphins fans. And Washington, they just lost everybody on their offense, on their defense. And here they go. This game is in Spain, I believe. I think so. I should have checked in on that. I probably said, but you know what? I think I'm right. So who cares? It's not in the U.S. That's all that matters to me. So everybody's on the Dolphins this game. I was on the Dolphins. I was feeling really good about the Dolphins, but I'm going to have to go with the Washington Commanders to win and to cover. Definitely got them to cover, but yeah, how many times have I fallen into the trap where the Dolphins are looking really good and I'm like, "Oh, this is such an easy pick, Miami," and they just completely let me down. It happens every year. I could think about it happening once this year. Not too long ago. Who did they just shut out the Falcons, and then the game after that, I'm pretty sure was a letdown. Let me look. Excuse me. They did good last week. Week before that. Yeah, they got destroyed by Baltimore. And Baltimore is coming up. They don't have a winning record yet. They will. I'll get to that later. So yeah. I don't like Miami in this spot. And another thing that really made me change my mind, Washington is 0-5 the last 5 weeks against the spread. So I don't see a team losing 6 straight weeks against the spread. I've never seen it yet. If it happens this week, I'll note it. But I can't go against that. I gotta go Washington. They gotta cover eventually. And I think this is a good spot. Like I said, it's easy to fade the Dolphins when you think of how much they screwed you over in the past when they were looking really good, things were on the up and up, and then just a big letdown. And that's the type of team the Dolphins have been the past 2 to 3 years. They look really good, then the next week they look like, what happened? Oh, maybe that was an off game. And yeah, so I think there's a good chance that happens this game. Like I said, I really like how the Dolphins have been looking lately. Devon Achane looks like Waddle could be a good number one. But then you still got to deal with Tua. I think he's always going to be the best word I could use to describe him is a ditz. So, yeah. I'm going to roll with Washington, Miami. This is one out of the 3 games that I might switch this week, but I can't, after seeing Washington lost their last 5 against the spread. I can't go against them. And Miami's defense, come on. They've been getting better, but there's still a lot to work on in Miami, and let's go Washington. Let's do it. Mariota, baby. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are -3.5. Falcons 3-5 or something, only a 3-win team. Panthers a 5-win team, yet Falcons are favored here. I think that's a little sketchy. I'm going to go with the Falcons to win and to cover. Now, last week I went against a lot of spreads that I thought was fishy. This one I don't think is too fishy because it is Carolina. They looked horrible the past couple weeks. Bryce Young can't put up any passing yardage. I think he had one game this year where he threw for a lot of yards, and that was against the Bengals, I believe. Well, I just remember as a defense that has a really bad pass defense. I'm pretty positive it was the Bengals, week 3. And other than that, Bryce Young, he can't sling the rock. They got rid of his best option in Adam Thielen, and I knew that was a bad idea from the get week 1 when I heard that. I don't like Bryce Young. He's not going to be a starter at least midway through next year. They can't bench him this year because Dalton's just absolute garbage. So he'll continue to start the rest of this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers just gave him one last shot next year. But eventually I don't see him starting. I don't think he has the arm strength, all that stuff. Then Atlanta's just got so much talent on their offense. You got All they got to really worry about on defense is stop Dowdle, and then let's see what Bryce Young can do. I doubt Bryce Young could win a game on his own, especially with his targets. He's never really built a chemistry with any of them, I don't feel like, yet. He can complete to them when they're wide open, but I don't see him having like pinpoint precise passes. None that I can remember this year. So yeah, let's go Atlanta. Penix is pretty much the same deal. Um, but he just has better targets. He's proven he could throw over 200 yards multiple games this year. Another thing I like is Bijan Robinson. Finally, he had like a 3-4 game skid where it was just like, what the heck's going on? This is supposed to be the best running back in the league. And last week he finally broke out for over 70 yards. Not really broke out, but finally looks like he's trending up. So let's go Atlanta to cover the 3.5. I got a good feeling about that one. Almost put money on it, but I was like, I can't do that. This is two bad teams. That's going to be another rule of mine, I think. I'm not going to bet on bad teams or two bad teams playing against each other because who knows what could happen. But, yeah. Next game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Buffalo Bills. Bills are minus 5.5. These 5.5 spreads are iffy for me, and there's two of them this week. I'm gonna have to go with I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to cover this, but Bills to win. Tampa Bay started off hot, and they just haven't shown me a week since they've been on their downward slope where they're back in rhythm. But I do believe they keep this close. Bad loss last week against New England at home. Buffalo's been looking a little shaky the past few weeks ever since that loss to New England. They haven't really looked like a good team. You got that one anomaly win against the Carolina Panthers where they put up 40 points, and I think Panthers scored like 6 that game. But other than that, the Bills, they're not blowing anybody out. They're not dominating. They don't look like an unstoppable force. That offense it's Josh Allen makes it work or it doesn't work. You know what I mean? There's not really any other key pieces on that offense. You got James Cook. I don't want to forget about him. But Tampa Bay's pretty good at stopping the run. They've been doing good stopping the run. Now, if you look on paper last week, it looks like they couldn't stop New England, but they really stopped New England's run game until they had that one breakout run with Henderson. If you take that run away, which you can't, but if you take it away, Tampa Bay they're still doing pretty good stopping the run on defense. Tampa Bay's banged up, but that's been the story with them all year. Baker Mayfield's still going to sling the ball, and I think this might be a high-scoring game. I think it will go under the total of 50.5 if anybody cares about that, just because I think Buffalo's offense, and I think, Mayfield doesn't have a lot to work with. He could be prone to take a sack or have a turnover. So I think it's a lower than 50.5, but high-scoring game. Both these teams get in the 20s. Tampa Bay covers the 5.5. Buffalo Bills win. I just see that division, Tampa Bay's division, staying close. And Carolina's still feeling like they have a shot after they lose this week. Buffalo, they need to win this game because they're falling behind New England. Buffalo was supposed to win the division this year. It wasn't even supposed to be close. And now they're 2 games back, I believe. Pats have 8 wins. Buffalo has 6, something like that. So, yeah, Buffalo needs to win this game because their playoff, they're slipping. And I think they're going to come locked in, especially after last week's loss. Let's not forget Buffalo lost against the Miami Dolphins last week at Miami. But Buffalo is known for owning Miami. That was a big upset loss. Josh Allen did not look good. He did say that, quote, I don't like, oh, they wanted it more than us. Like, come on. You can't admit that someone wants it more than you. I don't care. Just say they played better than us. Same thing. Sounds a lot better. Next game. We got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are plus 3.5 at home. I usually like to fade the home underdogs. Home underdogs are 43% this year, I believe, according to CBS spreads. They lock on Tuesday. They don't change. 43% home underdogs. Underdogs 44% total on the year. So I guess you could just say underdogs below 50. Not too far below 50, though. Let's not get carried away. I can't make that be my deciding factor. But I can be like, there's no way every single home underdog out of the week is going to cover. The chances of that are very unlikely. That's how I use that stat. I don't use that game by game. Anyway. Jacksonville Jaguars. I have to cover this spread. Jacksonville Jaguars, nobody's giving them a shot this week. I don't understand why. They're putting up points every single week on their offense. Now, their offense, I believe, is hot and cold by the drive, really. It's not even by the quarter, but they still put up points because they have enough hot drives where they can score points and get the ball down the field. But they showed signs of it early in the season, and it's still continuing since last week. They let teams come back in the ball game no matter how big of a lead they have. We don't have to worry about that if that happens this game. If they're up 7, 12, whatever amount of points, and Chargers come back and win, I don't know if Jaguars will get up that many points against the Chargers, but I'm just saying if it happens and the Chargers come back and win, we got the plus 3.5, to keep us safe, I think. Jaguars off of a bad loss last week. Like I said, they were up 19 points with a minute left in the third, and Houston, with no offense, was able to come back and beat them, and plus Houston's defense let Jaguars put up 30 points, so it wasn't like Houston's defense was shutting Jaguars down like they've been shutting teams down all year. Herbert with a weaker O-line. We've seen how that looks a few games this year. Chargers, what do they have? 2 pretty good wins in a row, I believe. They beat the Steelers convincingly. They beat, who did they play 2 weeks ago? I believe it was a primetime game on Thursday. Nope, I'm off. Perhaps they had a bye. Yeah, they destroyed Minnesota a few weeks back. But, I don't know. I don't know with this one. This one's, I'm feeling Jacksonville. Jacksonville hasn't covered in 4 straight weeks. Lawrence, I think, sucks. Herbert, I think, is awesome. But this Jacksonville defense can get some turnovers. Herbert showed that he can throw some pretty dumb passes this year. He does have a lot of weapons. Herbert's great. He's been killing it. So I'm a little nervous about this game, but I don't see me switching it. I got to lock with the Jacksonville Jaguars, especially after last week. When they had the cover and gave it away the last play of the game. It's the 3rd time I got burned this year by a defensive touchdown on the last play of a game that completely blew my cover. That's 3 games that I should have 82 wins against the spread this year. I got 79 because of those 3 games. I remember the Eagles being one of them. I can't remember the last game, but it's happened 3 times to me this year. I don't think I have more on that game. The Chargers' last 3 games were against bad offenses, so that could be why it looks like they're blowing teams out. And Steelers isn't really a bad offense, but you know what I mean. Like, there's weeks where they look like a bad offense. And last week against the Chargers was one of them. So the Chargers' last three matchups haven't been against offenses putting up points. And Jacksonville Jaguars have been putting up points somehow. They look like shit. It's easy to make fun of them, but they got a winning record. They're putting up points. And they're going against the Chargers team that's been played flat at certain points this year. So I'm going to take the 3.5 for that reason. Just because I think Jacksonville can keep up on offense. Chargers do have a good defense. It's been getting better, I think, week by week. But, and they can really I think they could rattle. Like, it's so hard to pick Trevor Lawrence. I'm just not but I'm going with him this week. Just because Jags haven't covered last 4 weeks. They should have covered last week. And usually on those spots, I pick the team and it works out for me. I don't know why. We're going to see if that continues. I'm going to start keeping track of that stat. Does a team cover after a week where they blew a cover last second? And they're on a already losing streak against the spread. Who knows? Jacksonville to cover the 3.5. Next game, we got the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are minus 3.5, and I don't know why. That's extremely fishy to me. But last week, I easily just picked a team because I thought a spread was extremely fishy. Maybe Vegas just doesn't know what's going on this year. I'm gonna pick Chicago to win in the cover. I don't see Minnesota blowing any team out. Winning by 4 isn't a blowout by any means, but I think Chicago's on a good run. They're finding out ways to win games, and if they're in a situation like this again where they got to find out a way to win a game, they might be down. I think they could get a backdoor cover. We got backdoor potential. Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy, he looked pretty good last week. I think he threw for over 200 yards, but the Vikings, they didn't cover last week, and I noticed they don't really cover unless their defense is tearing it up and getting turnovers, running it back an extra 20 or 30 yards. Yeah, I don't see the Vikings covering this game. I think J.J. McCarthy is going to have some bad games, but he'll be the Vikings guy. I think he'll be the franchise guy. We might see him play for the Vikings for about 5 years, maybe a little bit longer. But because he does look good. Yeah, I got the Bears easy. I like Caleb Williams, and another thing I noticed, and I said this in my other videos. Go back and watch. I said this the week the Bears played the the Commanders. I said I bet you the Bears, unlike last year, are going to beat the Commanders in a close game, which they did. And then their season's going to go good, unlike last year when they lost to them, and their season just went downhill from there. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that vibe. I'm going to go with that little prediction instinct I had because it's looking good and it's working. That's exactly what's happening. And they're going to beat this Minnesota Vikings team that they're not going to make a playoff run, I don't believe. They might hang in it just to be like, oh, maybe if everything goes their way, the Vikings. But the Vikings, I don't think are really going to be talked about making. And that's a shame because they got some good, well, really only Justin Jefferson. Everybody else isn't really superstar status on that team. They got a pretty good defense. That's why I can't bet this game because who knows? They could make Caleb look like a fool. He has been running around a lot this season, but, it's been working out for him so far, the running around. He's been getting out of sticky situations, especially last week. But, yeah, I just like this Bears defense might be a little weak, but like I said, I'm not too high on McCarthy. So let's go Bears to cover the 3.5. Next game, this game is a money pick. This is the only money pick. I got 5 money picks this week, by the way, guys. That's the most all year. Something about this week. I'm feeling it. I hope I don't get let down. But this is the only money pick where I'm not feeling too confident on. The rest I'm feeling fairly confident. I got the Green Bay Packers at the New York Giants. Giants are plus 7.5 at home. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers to win and cover. Put my money on it. Green Bay has had like 3 disappointing weeks on offense. They're due for a bounce back, and this is a good spot against the Giants defense that can't stop a run, and that's Green Bay's specialty with Josh Jacobs. And then that should open up the pass game, and Jordan Love should look like a top 5 quarterback again, and everybody will be talking about the Packers, about how they're a top team, and I don't get that. Still till this week, people are talking like Packers are one of the top teams in the NFC. How? They've scored a lot of points on the games they win, but they've had so many games where they just fall flat and look like they can't do anything, and that's bad foreshadowing if they do make the playoffs. Like, they're gonna have one of those games in the playoffs where they just fall flat, no matter how hype you are, how hyped up the team is. But I got them this week. I think they're gonna bounce back offensively big time. New York Giants just fired their head coach. Just lost Jackson Dart, and now the only thing that makes me nervous about this game is Jameis Winston. But I don't know why. He's just got like maybe he could put some passion into a team or something. But I think this Giants the team is just already too demoralized for Jameis Winston to do anything about it. Sure, I think he'll make this game a little bit more fun to watch. Definitely more fun than having Russell Wilson in there. But ultimately, they won't cover this 7.5. I think maybe they'll be losing by like 5 or so points until finally Green Bay just puts that nail in the coffin. And yeah, that's how I think this game's gonna go. Or Green Bay just completely shuts them out. You always got to worry about when there's a new coach and a new quarterback. Like, maybe that's something that Giants have going for them as well. Like, how can you game plan for a team when you don't know what to get? There's a new coach, new quarterback, but they got nobody. They got no weapons. Just a bunch of C-grade players, in my opinion. So I feel like I'd be a fool not to put money on Green Bay this week. That's why I'm doing it. And, there's been a lot of games this year also that I've been confident on, but just didn't throw my money on it because I'm like, I already bet 3 games this week. I'm not going to do any more. And then those games all end up doing good. So I'm not gonna be shy anymore. It's time to finish this year off confidently. Whoops. Next game, we got the Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings. I did that game already. I'm sorry. We got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are minus 5.5. I got my money on this game as well. Let's go Steelers to win and to cover. Everybody's going against the Steelers, acting like, oh, this is an easy game for the Bengals to cover. The Bengals beat them last week, so this should be a close game. Steelers should win, but it should be a close one. No, I don't think that's like the easy way out. Everybody's taking the easy way out this week. I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to put my money on it. Steelers to win and to cover the 5.5. Look at Cincinnati before the bye. They killing it. 30-plus games, like 3 or 4 games in a row about. Then they go on a bye. I think that's a bad thing. Now, that fire simmers down a little bit, right? Simmer down now. That's what happens. So I think that's a bad bye week for the Bengals. They're going to lose a little bit of that offensive mojo. Pittsburgh Steelers defense has been looking a lot better since the last time they played the Bengals. They've cleaned it up a lot since then. They've changed some things on defense. They stopped being so stubborn and trying to keep everything the same. Actually making changes, and it's working out for them big time. Their defense is not the reason why they lost last week. It was the offense, but their offense has been looking good, in my opinion, all year. Not like good, like awesome, but they're putting up points. They're scoring points. Rodgers is moving the ball down the field. He hasn't been looking too bad. Other than last week, he looked horrible. He was missing throws off target. But now he's gifted with this Bengals defense. That's a perfect opportunity, perfect get-right spot for Rodgers to really make up for a shitty performance last week. I like that feeling. Another thing that makes me feel really good about this, and I see a lot of people talking about it, Bengals second half total is only 10.5. So everybody's putting their money on that. Something's off about that to me. Now that's a big. Vegas is saying Bengals, and I think that might be plus money. So that's like too big of a bait. Something tells me Steelers like just shut down the Bengals second half. They don't give them too much. Unlike last time they faced off earlier this year, where Bengals just unstoppable on the second half. It's a battle of old quarterbacks. There's talks that Burrow might return if the Bengals could win, so I think the Bengals will have some fight in them. But Steelers, after such a disappointing loss last week, who do they play? They should have fucking won. I forget. Don't want to waste any more time. But I think Rodgers is going to bounce back. I think the Steelers defense is going to continue to play tight and good. They're going to have a challenge with gunslinging Joe Flacco and probably the best weapons he's ever had in his career. Arguably, I do like Steve Smith. But, yeah, let's go Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's go Aaron Rodgers. Bounce back. Pretty sure I heard some whispers that this is his last year, so I'm pretty sure he's going to want to go out with a bang. But I don't know. He's kind of been laid back and nonchalant the past years, like in interviews and everything. Like, is that fire still burning in him? I don't know, but he's playing for a great franchise, and I doubt he wants to let that their fan base down. Next game, we got the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. Titans are plus 7.5 at home. I'm going with the Titans to cover, Houston Texans to win. Houston off of a dramatic win, huge comeback win with an offense that didn't put up points all year, and somehow they do that. And Tennessee's coming off a bye, and they've had a lot of close games this year. They don't look close if you watch them, but like I don't see Houston beating this team or beating anybody by more than a touchdown, especially since Stroud will not be playing this game. He's ruled out for a second straight week. Davis Mills, he's shown some flashes of, oh, look what he can do in the past. But against this Tennessee defense, which is okay, I feel like the Tennessee defense, like, they're a lot better than it looks on paper, and it looks like they give up a lot of points every game, but that's because I think the Titans offense just set them up so many times, put them in bad positions. I think Ridley might be coming back this year. Calvin Ridley might be coming back on this week. Hasn't been huge, but any little bit helps right now with this Titans offense that can't do anything before the bye. They were able to keep it somewhat close against Chargers. I would like to see that Titans this week against Texans team. Now this defense, it's gonna, I'm pretty sure Titans got shut out last time they played the Texans, but I just, it's gonna be a low scoring game, a defensive battle, and because of that, I'm so much more comfortable getting 7.5 points. I don't see Houston's offense dominating. Davis Mills isn't going to dominate. Maybe a blown coverage or something, but he's not going to be, like, on the money. Maybe a couple fluky plays that could happen. I'm not putting my money on this game because this is two bottom-of-the-barrel teams, in my opinion, going against each other. But I believe Tennessee Um, yeah, something tells me they'll at least keep it within a touchdown. Uh, their defense gets a break going against an offense that doesn't really score. Somehow they did last week, but like I said, Jacksonville's known for just blowing a big lead. It doesn't matter who they're playing. They did it against the Raiders too, but I had the Raiders that week. Next game, finally entering 4 o'clock. We got the San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals are plus 2.5. I got my money on this one. I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers to win in the cover. The Cardinals offense is more banged up than San Francisco's offense right now. They don't have Harrison Jr. Their running backs are slim to none. They got a rookie running back who shows sparks here and there, but he ain't gonna carry a game. Brissett is going against let's just say the Niners defense get a break this week going against Brissett and nobody to throw to. McBride's their only option, so I don't think I think this is another game where Brissett looks bad, and maybe we see Kyler Murray again next week or later on in this game at some point. I don't know if he's still hurt or not, but I don't think Cardinals have been keeping games close, and I think after last week we finally saw that's not going to progress the rest of the year. Everybody thought Cardinals would look a lot better. Their defense is pretty good, but looking through the scores, their defense has given up a good amount of points all year. So it's not they're decent. They're not the best. I think Mac Jones, first time that these two teams faced off, Arizona. Did they win? Shit, let me look. I know there's important stuff about this. Let me list it. San Francisco's offense still puts up points, as injured as they are, and I believe they're going to be capable of putting up more points than the Arizona offense. Arizona has nobody on offense, and they're going against a practice squad defense in San Francisco, but this defense is catching a break going against this offense. This defense has gone against tough teams their past few weeks, and the Rams. Who else have they played? But yeah, this is going to be an easy game, I think, for San Francisco. Mac Jones is going to look really good. Then there's going to be QB controversy like there is every single fucking year in San Francisco. That's just their storyline. It is every year. All the way since fucking Alex Smith. Right? I think that's where it started. From my knowledge, it could go back farther than that. But I started paying attention with Alex Smith. And then Garoppolo came in. No. Kaepernick came in. Then after Kaepernick, I believe it was Garoppolo. Then after Garoppolo, it's Purdy. Now after Purdy, it's Jones. Then after Jones, who's it going to be? So let's go San Francisco to win in the cover. This should be an easy one. It's my most confident pick of the week. I don't care if they're away. Seattle, next game. Seattle Seahawks at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams are minus 2.5. This is the game of the week. This game is a complete toss-up to me. 2-7-2 teams. Two teams that have been killing it lately. But I think because I like Seattle's defense a lot better, on top of that, Stafford is kind of due to throw a pick. He only has 2 INTs this whole year. I bet he throws a couple more, and we're getting close to the end of the year now. But he's killing it. Stafford's on fire. He can spread the ball. True gunslinger. Looking great this year. But Devontae Adams, I'm going to pay attention to that injury. Got an oblique injury. Maybe that slows them down. They're going against, in my opinion, a top 2 defense. So let's see how this offense operates going against a shutdown defense, in my opinion. Seattle looks great on offense as well. And Jigba seems to be their only main target, but nobody's stopping him. And I just got a vibe that this is one of those years where he just goes off every game and nobody stops him. And then I don't think Seattle goes to the Super Bowl or nothing. Obviously, they'll make the playoffs. Uh, I just got a feeling. I got a feeling Seattle gets this one at home, and then I think it won't be too much longer till they play each other again. Um, let's go defense. This is a game I might switch. This is the second game. No, third game I might switch. I was thinking about switching Green Bay and Giants, but the more I think about that, the more I'm like, I can't pick the Giants. So I might switch this game. Seattle at Rams. Let's go right now. Seattle plus 2.5 to cover. Next game, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. Browns are plus 8.5 at home. I got my money. This is another money pick. The fourth money pick of the week on the Baltimore Ravens to win in the cover. A lot of people are picking the Browns for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why people think the Browns are going to cover. Also, a weird and interesting stat this year. After playing, I saw some. I didn't actually do my own research on this, so don't hold me to it. But I've seen people say that after playing the Jets, teams lose against the spread the week after they play the Jets. And besides that bogus fact, I said it before Baltimore's bye week. I believe they're going to lose this week, not cover it, but when they come back, they're going to go on a 6-game win streak and come off hot. Baltimore needs to win this game to finally get back to 500. I don't think they ever were at 500 this year. Maybe week 2. After a 1-5 start, so that's incredible motivation right there. I'm sure they motivated to get back to 500. That'll be an incredible win, an incredible feat. I don't know of any 1-5 teams that crawl their way back like that. Comment down below if you know of any. But Cleveland, they suck on offense. Their defense is good, but I think they're due to get let down, just finally just get pulverized. And, the Cleveland defense that's been good or top tier-ish for the past few years finally just gets fed up and they all just want to go elsewhere. I think I've been saying it the past few weeks. I'm still waiting. They're going to have to bench Gabriel at some point. They talk about Shedeur Sanders too much. We're going to see him get playing time this year. I thought it would be after they lost to the Jets, but I'm pretty sure Gabriel's still the guy. So, that's a little stubbornness, I think, on the coach's part. But I think we're eventually, that's the Browns doing Browns things. That's what they do. It's never the players really that are horrible on the Browns. It's the coaching and just how they handle things. They suck. And the Browns are being very Brown-like lately, which is why I got to fade them and go with the Baltimore Ravens to get an easy win and cover. And I'm sure get this 5-5 win, they're not going to take their foot off the gas. They really need to make sure they get this 5-5, and they're going to want to feel good doing it. Get their confidence back, like full surge. 5-5 and look good doing it. Let's go Baltimore Ravens. Jackson's looking better too. He's spreading the ball around. Henry's finally 4 straight games of 70+ yards. I think he's like, it's like the volcano that's about to erupt. That's Derrick Henry right now. I think he's due for one of those Derrick Henry type games where he just runs. Ravens aren't breaking a lot of tackles lately. They got to, start doing that. Next game, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos. I'm going to have to go with the Kansas City Chiefs to win and cover this. I don't like the Broncos' offense. I've been saying that week in and week out. I do like Kansas City's offense a lot. They're getting healthier. I believe Worthy is going to play this week. Pacheco, no, but they haven't really had a run game all year. They could run it with... They could figure something out. I don't like Bo Nix. This Broncos offense hasn't scored against any defense that can actually play defense. Mims might return, which is good for Broncos offense, in my opinion. I think that helps out a lot because, in my opinion, it was really bad when they lost him. So it's got to be the opposite when he comes back, right? But I think Mahomes and the Chiefs, they really need to win this game because if they don't, then like their playoff hopes are looking really bad. Even though it's Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid's, like they're in a bad position if they lose this game. And coming off of a bye, Andy Reid is awesome coming off of a bye in his whole career. So I love that. I gotta ride that. Almost, I might. Kansas City, like Mahomes has owned Denver too his whole career. I think he has one loss against Denver. Surtain might not play again. This is a must win, a must win for Kansas City over Denver. Denver, they're leading the division, but I believe that's a fluke. Denver's not looking pretty when they win any of their games. Kind of like Kansas City last year, but worse. Kansas City was just, getting lucky wins. Broncos are just the whole game. They don't look good. I'm not going to put money on this, but I'm feeling locked in on Kansas City Chiefs to win and to cover this spread. Next game, we got the Detroit Lions at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles are -1.5. I am going with the Detroit Lions. I have to go with the Detroit Lions. Any week of the year, I would go with the Detroit Lions to win and cover the spread against the Eagles. With the way both these teams have been looking this year. Eagles, they are very inconsistent in my opinion. Their offense has been very flat all year. Detroit, they've had some games where their offense looked flat, but for the most part, their offense has been killing it. What are they just? They just got upset last week against the Vikings. Nope, that was 2 weeks ago. Sorry, they just dominated the Commanders last week. That was a good revenge game for them. And now they're going against the Eagles, a team who they will potentially be fighting for #1 seed. So I think they'll play pretty hard and try to make a point. Eagles, they've been a weird team this year. Yeah, they're 7-2, but they haven't looked good. I don't know how to put it. Like offensively, just flat most of the year. Like I said, Hurts ain't passing the ball. Barkley ain't running like a beast, a monster, a goblin, a goon. He's this It's just not happening, and I think Detroit's hot right now, coming off of a hot win, and they're gonna keep their foot on the pedal like they always do, no matter what day of the week. And I can't fade Detroit. I cannot fade them here in this spot. I think they're gonna win. There's that AJ Brown talk, but other than that, like it doesn't seem like the Eagles are at odds with each other. It just seems like AJ Brown all on his own island. So it's a tough game, I'm not going to lie. It's hard to fade the Eagles, Super Bowl champs, still 7-2, still finding out ways to win games, and this is pretty much a pick'em spread, 1.5. But yeah, let's go Detroit to win and to cover. Next game, Monday night, we got the Dallas Cowboys at the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are +3.5. Raiders cover their last 2 games. They haven't covered a lot this year. Neither is Dallas. I'm going with Dallas, and I'm putting my money on it. It's the 5th money pick of the week. First time all year. First time ever since I've been doing these videos, and I'm putting money on a Monday night game. I'm doing it. I'm feeling confident with the Cowboys this week. I think you could put money on Dallas -10.5. Look, their offense hasn't been playing good lately, so they're due for they got all the pieces on offense. Prescott, they can run the ball. They're due for an explosive offensive game, in my opinion. And against this Raiders defense, that's a good spot. This Raiders defense has been looking pretty decent. Not really. giving up 30 points to, I believe, the Jags. And last week they looked good, but against, again, a Denver offense that I've never been high on all year. I don't think they're that great. Along with Denver and Buffalo, I believe both their offenses are very overrated. One and the same almost, except, you got Josh Allen on the other team. And James Cook. But back to the Dallas and Raiders, I got my money on Dallas. -3.5. Dallas hasn't covered in a while. I didn't even look that up. We could do it right here. Raiders got 2 pretty close lucky covers their past 2 games. I just think it's a good spot to fade the Raiders. Geno Smith has looked frustrated all year. He has no chemistry with any of his receivers. Lost the only good one in Myers. Brock Bowers, he got shut down last weekend. That was with the Denver offense, so Bowers could pop off against this cruddy Dallas defense. But I have a feeling that Dallas is also going to play some passionate football this Monday night. Usually in these scenarios, I hate to use this as a betting trend or angle or whatever, but usually in these scenarios, these teams, they go all out, they pop off, they play some inspired football, and Raiders suck. So all that put together, I'm feeling really good about Dallas. It's a Monday night game. I'm putting my money on it. They're due for a cover. It's been a while, I believe. Before I peace out, let's see. They didn't cover. Last week they had a bye. They didn't cover going into the bye against Arizona. They didn't cover against Denver. And you know what I say about Denver. Denver was actually able to put up a lot of points on Dallas that game. 44 fucking points, I believe. Then you got they covered against Washington, so it hasn't been too long. But I'm still feeling Dallas. Their offense has got to pick it up. I don't think they're going to be having below 20-point games all year. I think they put up high 20s, maybe 30 or more points on the Raiders. And the Raiders, they might score points only because Dallas's defense sucks, but I don't think it's going to be because Geno Smith looks great. Or Gentee, maybe he'll have some good runs, but I don't. The spread is too low. I don't see the Raiders keeping this one close. And if you stuck around this long, you are a true Schmidt head. We got 5 money picks this week. Time to take our 18 wins and 17 losses on the money picks and really start widening that gap between wins and losses. This has got to be the week it starts. Week 11, this has got to be the week that we can read these teams better than ever before. Week 11 is usually, okay, now we know who's fake, who's real, who's going to be a playoff contender. We could put all that stuff into perspective when we're making these picks. Whose season is on the line. Like, you can't put none of that in perspective week 4, 5, 6, It's the later weeks when teams start widening that gap and the chances are slimming down. So, yeah. Peace out, Schmidt heads. Don't forget to click, like, and subscribe. I got to remember to start saying that in the beginning of my videos. I never do. 79 wins against the spread this year. I'm hoping we can get to 90 wins by the end of this week. But we ain't counting our chickens before they hatch, all right? So good luck this week, guys. If you bet, please bet responsibly. I'm only betting 1% of an account I put aside, a gambling account. I'm only betting 1% for each bet. So I ain't betting no college fund. I ain't losing my house. Don't worry. None of you guys should bet that way. Be smart. Peace.